In this video, we're going to be solving equations that require multiple steps. So when we're trying to solve equations, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get all of our variables or our letters on one side, and we want to get all of our numbers on the other side. So what we want to do is we need to move things over, and to do that, what we end up doing is taking the opposite of what we see. So what we want to do first is we always start with what's easiest, and that's always addition and subtraction. So I want to get this -7 and move it to the other side. So to do that, we're going to do the opposite of what we see. Since we have -7, we're going to add 7. And if we do it on this side, it means that we got to do it on the other side of our equal sign as well. So -7, +7, that's going to give us 0. -17 plus 7 is going to give us 24. So now what we're left with is 9n is equal to 5n plus 24. And what we need to do now is we got to get all of our variables or our n on the other side. So we're going to move this over. So what we do with this is to move this over, we are actually going to subtract. We have a positive 5n, which means we're going to take a negative 5n and move it to the other side. If we did division, we'd have to do division to all three of these numbers, but we'd still be left with an n here. So just remember, it's always going to be subtraction. So if we take it to this side, it means we have to do that to the other side. Positive 5n minus 5n is going to give us 0. 9n minus 5n is going to give us 4n, and that's going to be equal to 24. So now that we got an n on one side, we got a number on the other side. We have to divide. We have a multiplication here, 4 times n, so we got to do the opposite, which is going to be divide. Divide on both sides, and that's going to give us that n is equal to 6. So moving on to the next example, you're going to see we actually have to do a couple steps here. First, we have some factoring that we have to do. So when we factor, we have to take the parentheses into account, which means that this number has to be multiplied to this, and that number has to be multiplied to that. So we're going to do those steps first, and we're going to simplify on both sides. So we have 4x, and then 4 times 3 is going to give us 12. We have a minus 2, and that is equal to 6. So if we simplify this out, we're going to see we just have one x variable here, which is 4x, plus 10 is equal to 6. Now again, we're going to follow the same steps that we did on this side. We have to do the numbers first and then our letters. So numbers first means that since we have positive 10, we're going to minus 10 on this side and minus 10 on this side. When we simplify that out, we'll have 4x by itself because this will cancel out. And then we're going to have 6 minus 10, which is going to give us -4. Since now we have 4 times x on this side, to get an x all by itself, we have to do the opposite of this. So since we have 4 times, we're going to do division, which means we have to do it on both sides. And if we simplify that out, x will equal -1. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what do you need to do when you have fractions on both sides. Well, it's still going to follow the same procedures. We want to get x on one side and we want to get all of our numbers on the other side. So what we end up needing to do is follow the same procedure. We want to start with what's easiest, which is going to be moving our numbers over. So we're going to move this number over to this side. And to do this, since we have -15, we're going to do the opposite of that, which is going to be positive 15 or adding 15. And if we do it on one side, we have to do it on the other side. -15 plus 15 is going to give us 0, which means we're going to be left with 2 over 5x on this side. And then on this side, we're still going to have the 5 over 8x, and then -16 plus 15 is going to give us -1. So what we want to do now is we're going to have to move this to the other side. And again, we're going to do that by subtracting it. And if we do that, we're going to subtract on that side, which means we're going to subtract on this side as well. And what we're going to be left with is 2 over 5x minus 5 over 8x, and that's going to be equal to -1. So what we need to do is now we're going to have to combine these fractions. And to do that, what we need to take is we need to figure out what the least common denominator is, meaning a number in the denominator that is the same if we multiply this fraction by another fraction and a fraction here. Well, I know 5 and 8, the least common denominator is going to be 40. So that means that we're going to have to multiply top and bottom by 8 over 8 on this side and then 5 over 5 on this side. Now we always multiply by the same number top and bottom because it needs to be 1 whenever we multiply. It's not changing the number, it's just changing the denominator and the numerators, but it'll still be the same value. So if we multiply that out, we'll have 16 over 40x minus 25 over 40x, and that's equal to negative 1. So now we're going to take this and move it to over here on this side. So again, we have 16x over 40 minus 25 over 40x, and that is equal to negative 1. Now we can simplify this out. There's a couple ways we can do it. We can factor this x out. It'll make it a little bit easier for us to see it, right? We have 16 over 40 minus 25 over 40. So that's going to leave us with negative 9 over 40. We can put this x back in there. It'll go at the end, and that's equal to negative 1. So now we got to get x by itself. So since we have this fraction here, we can multiply it by the reciprocal, meaning where you take the opposite numbers, you flip it around, and since we have a negative, we have to multiply it by a negative. Now if we take that, we know negative and negative makes it a positive, then 40 and 40 cancel out, 9 and 9 cancels out, so you're just left with x on that side. But since we multiplied it on that side, it means that we got to multiply it on this side as well. So negative and negative cancel each other out. 1 times 40 will be 40 over 9, and that is going to be our answer.